Hello, beautiful people. Rebecca here. How are you? It's nice to jump on and just do this spontaneous live. I hope you're having an amazing week. I wanted to share because I've just posted into the Facebook group that I'm interviewing Lewis G. Noriega on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. So I hope you can come join us and watch that. Lewis is an amazing guy. I actually met him on Facebook. And it's like kismet when you meet people and you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm totally in alignment with this person, their vision, their values. So it was so exciting to have a chat to him and share that with you guys on Friday. I'm super excited about it because what he has to say is really valid. If you're interested in coaching, if you want to be a coach, if you're looking at personal development, if you want to step into the next evolution of yourself, he's got some really important things to say. Hey, Rosie. Hey, Jackie. How are you, ladies? So, just a spontaneous live from me. But what I wanted to talk about is I don't know if I've put the title up to this video, but I will do, which is that your happiness is here now. And I think this is a wonderful gift to offer the tribe because I think there's so much often that we get caught up in what's been referred to before as destination addiction. I.e., when I get to this place, then I will be happy. And a lot of our culture is associated with this. Sorry about that noise in the background. There's some hammering going on next door. Hi, Lee. How are you, lovely? Nice to have you on the live. So, just talking about the fact that your happiness is here now. Okay, so the first point I wanted to make, why? Because the present moment is all you have. This is it. This is as good as it gets. So, this is why it's so important for us to be able to go, okay, well, how am I feeling? And do I want to increase my feeling? Do I want to expand in regards to how much joy I can contain in this moment? The answer to that is always yes. So we need to learn the skills in regards to how to do that because the present moment is all you have. So that's why getting to know yourself is so important. So you can be the observer of your own thought process and go, is this thought actually contributing to my happiness? Is it making me feel good? Is it making me feel more expanded? Is it making me feel more blissful? Recognizing that you have a choice, and never more so have I been aware of this in terms of my dad passing, right? Like it's so crystal clear to me, right? It's like if you think that thought, you are going to cry. Right? But recognizing that sometimes that you choose to think that thought, but you're doing it from a place of awareness and choice rather than just falling into it and feeling like the externals are consuming you. It's a very different place of actually feeling that emotion versus if I choose to think this, it's going to keep me feeling more happy, more expanded, in a different vibration. Now, when you're grieving somebody, of course, it's totally appropriate to allow yourself to have that experience. But intuition and discernment means knowing the difference. I'm choosing this from a place of awareness versus I'm just choosing to fall into this and feeling like I can't control it. Right? You always have a choice, and the present moment is so powerful in terms of what it is that you create for the future. How you feel in this moment literally impacts what unfolds for you. So being super aware of that, you actually have more control and more dominion over where you're directing your focus, your attention, and your thoughts. And this can be one of the hardest things too, right? Because there are a lot of things that happen to us in life, and our power is in our ability to be able to respond. And this is not something that they teach us in school. They don't actually explain to us, hey, you have a choice between a reaction and a response. And the response process is really learning that you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. So, therefore, as the observer of your thoughts, you can change them in any given moment. You get to choose. You get to ask yourself and interrupt yourself and say, is this thought actually serving me? And sometimes it's going to be affected by, your hormones, how much sleep you've had, what's been happening in your life, how much stress you're under. But realizing that you have a choice is the path to freedom. And recognizing too, right, that the next thing I wanted to reiterate, your happiness is not in anything outside of you. right? It's not in your car, it's not in your house, it's not in your career, it's not even in your hobbies or what it is that you choose to do, right? Your happiness is always created within yourself. It always comes back to that relationship again that you're having with yourself. Your self-worth is what I talked about, the quality of your relationship that you're having with yourself. And you have control over that in any given moment. You know, like if you're stuck with something, one of the most powerful things that you can do is sit down and have a chat to yourself about what's going on for you rather than keeping on staying in the grind and in the hustle. You know, if you're not feeling good, what does it take to be the person who can actually sit and be present to themselves, recognize and notice their feelings and their reactions, and actually do a little bit of work and healing on themselves rather than showing up and keeping on pushing and struggling and hustling and grinding, because that's just going to make it worse. I'll give you an example of this. When I first started doing coaching work, I was treating it like my old job. And in my old job, you know, I sat at a desk for like 8 hours. You know, it was very mentally focused energy, and it was a grind, right? There was always a deadline, there was always pressure. So here in my coaching practice, I was kind of mimicking the same thing because of course that's what I had done previously. That was the structure that I had worked under. That's what I thought was normal. So I used to get a lot of information from my guides, right, saying, go and play. And I would be like arguing with them, going, what are you talking about? I've got work to do. I've got to make this happen. I've got to get this done. And then I realized, right, that that was causing me distress. So I was kind of like, this is not why I chose to become self-employed. I have to let go of that old paradigm of thinking that's the way you have to do it to allow myself to enjoy the work war. So my energy is more expanded. So then it's easier to attract clients. It's easier to be in that space of being able to give and receive because you're coming from a full cup. Hope this makes sense. Hope this is landing, folks. Yes, yes, yes. Choose to feel happy now, right? And realizing too that there's no person, there's no thing, there's no circumstance, there's no achievement, there's nothing outside of you. Because you think about it, when you do get that amazing achievement, you know, does that feeling always, I mean, it varies too, depending on what it is, right? Because I was just thinking in terms of my own house, when I actually manifested this house and moved in, you know, that sense of accomplishment. But again, there's always something beyond that. And also, too, that environment brings you certain feelings and you can be grateful for that. But it's human nature, right? Is once we reach the goal, it's kind of like, what's next? It's human nature to do that. So recognizing that there's no long-term satisfaction that can come from once a goal has been met, right? Once you get to, you know, your 6 figures, your 7 figures, whatever, you know, you're as a human, you're looking to evolve. So realizing that and realizing my happiness isn't going to be when I get there, because who's been in that circumstance before where you've actually gotten to a goal and then you're like disappointed? Or I think I've shared this before when I manifested a big lump sum of money. And I was like thinking that the happiness was going to be in the money. And then it was like, it's not in the money. And then it was like, oh my goodness, what happens now? Because, you know, and it was a really physical experience. It was really scary experience because you think that in your mind, and then the physical experience of it is like, oh, it's not there. So what do I do now, right? Recognizing it's not in anything external. It's here now. And here now comes back to that relationship that you're having with self, and the better relationship you're having with yourself is only going to be formed from getting to know yourself better. So I just felt inspired to come and share some information, right? Realizing that your happiness isn't in things, it isn't in a destination, it's here now. And the irony is, once you actually go, what can I do to increase my happiness on a day-to-day basis here now? Number one thing I would always recommend is having a spiritual practice first thing in the morning because it sets your energy for the day. But to be in that space of cultivating it moment by moment, checking in with yourself, asking yourself, how am I feeling? Is there a feeling that I can feel that is more expanded or happier than this? And then going, okay, what can I do within my limitations, perhaps? Because maybe you're at work, maybe you're looking after children, maybe you're doing something else. There's always a thought that you can choose that's going to contribute to the way that you feel. So recognizing that and understanding that that is always in your control. And then when you add that to your life, and cultivate that and get really good at that, you can literally shift yourself out of pretty much anything at any given moment because you have the choice to do that. Alrighty, folks. And the other thing I just wanted to say is, this is often not the thing that we put our hands up for the most, but the happiest people I know are the ones who choose to forgive. And people don't understand how, again, forgiveness is so connected to abundance. If you want to be truly happy, you will forgive everyone everything, right? Every slight you've ever had, any conversation where you felt like they were rude to you or disrespected you or insulted you, you will do the work of forgiveness. Now, a lot of people have a lot of misunderstandings about forgiveness. A lot of I'll say to somebody, have you forgiven this person? And they'll say, I think so. Forgiveness is not a thinking process. It is a feeling, heart-based process. And it's not necessarily easy if we have been operating out of our head, and we're encouraged to do that, right? Because so much emphasis is placed on the intellect, the mind, to get things done, to get the job, to get the career, to get what it is that the next goal is. So we actually have to learn what it takes to come back into the heart space and learn how to feel our feelings, because we don't get taught that either. We're not advanced enough as a society where actually we are teaching children how to be present to the discomfort of their feelings at a young age. Imagine what that would be like to be 5 years old and to have your anger acknowledged and witnessed and know how to process it. So you didn't have to show up as an adult and go, I've still got this rage from being 5 years old and it's really impacting my life and how I show up. How amazing will that be? What would it take, right, to be the person who can identify their own emotions? Because this is how we feel really honored and appreciated, is by witnessing ourselves. You can guarantee that there are probably emotions right now, and maybe even listening to me is creating some discomfort because maybe there's something that you've been ignoring. Maybe there's something that you've been trying to tell yourself, oh, I just need to get over that. Or you're trying to rationalize an emotion that keeps on coming up. That emotion has information for you. Your emotions are your guidance system. So what does it take to be able to love any emotion that becomes present, whether it's hurt or disappointment or pain or jealousy or rage, whatever it is? What does it take for us to cultivate that ability within ourselves to be present to it, to love it, to accept it and say, it's totally okay that you're here. I see you. A lot of people, I think, get fearful because they think if I do that, then I'm going to get stuck, or I'm going to stay in victim, or the emotion's going to be too intense and it's going to kill me. That's not the case. It probably feels like that because maybe you've been ignoring it for a while, so it's getting more intense, right? But once you actually have the willingness, which is what forgiveness is all about too, right? Being willing to be present to it, you shift so much energy, and then life shows up in a completely different way. So if you're stuck, struggling, feeling contracted, then this is huge in terms of opening everything up. And of course, if you think about it, if you're looking at your life like a flow of energy, unforgiveness is kind of like a big kink in the hose. You're watering the garden and you get the kink in the hose and it's like, there's no water. That's pretty much what unforgiveness does in terms of, your abundance, your flow. People don't make this connection. They're like out there trying to make things happen, but they're not energetically clear because they've still got people, maybe even themselves, in their lives where they're creating separation, disconnect, and that's not how the universe works, right? In universal law, it's we're all one, so we need to get free and clear in our own channel in order for that energy to flow. And when it does, right, you'll feel it in your body. You feel good. It's easier to be in the present moment. You're not reminiscing about the past. You're not worrying about the future. You can be here now because you have literally given it up, right? You've surrendered the contraction. You've said to the universe, I need your help to be able to release this energy. Because forgiveness, in my experience too, always, we can't do it by ourselves, right? always comes from divine frequency. Always. Right? Like because what happens, right? In the ego, we go, oh yeah, I'll forgive them, right? I'll be a good person. And, which is really, the ego's so funny, right? Because it's really just elevating yourself above that person rather than going to the true energy of divine oneness, which is asking, going through the process of atonement, which is really going, okay, this is hurting me. So therefore, it's hurting my reality, my field of reality. It's hurting other people in my world because I'm holding on to this contraction. And I really need the universe's help to be able to set myself free. Like I said, I really, in all my life experience, I've never felt that the process of forgiveness, if it's done correctly, has ever been done outside of divine frequency. The universe needs to support you in the process of forgiveness, because we can't do it by ourselves. And again, the irony being that the universe doesn't judge us, we judge ourselves. The universe doesn't need forgiveness because it's whole and perfect. We are doing a mighty fine job of contracting ourselves, but it's also up to us to take the accountability and responsibility to take those steps to do it. So just wanted to share a little bit of information, right? Your happiness is here now. Just kind of check inside yourself. And again, it's not about judging yourself, making yourself right and wrong. Sometimes just being aware and being willing to notice, yeah, maybe there's a couple people in my life that I have contraction around and that I would do well in terms of forgiving them, allowing the energy to open up. I'll probably share more information about forgiveness because a lot of people, they don't really understand it. Forgiveness is really about setting yourself free from the contraction. If you have somebody in your life that you feel hurt by, it is not, you're carrying the burden often and the energy of it, and they're not, right? So you might be sitting there, and again, unforgiveness is really that energy of like you drinking the poison and wanting them to die, right? And it doesn't work like that, and it just makes you all tied up in knots. So it really is forgiving to yourself. And when you do that, because we're all connected through the law of one, when you forgive yourself, you forgive the other person. When you forgive the other person, you forgive yourself. Your energy opens up, and that's how you can step into really living the life of your dreams, right? Because you've done the inner work to keep your channel of energy open. You're free and clear of any contraction. Oh yeah, I was just about to say, does this make sense? And Rosie's pop perfect sense. That's awesome. Thank you so much for reiterating that, Rosie. I really appreciate it because it's super important, right? If you really want to be truly happy, you will explore forgiveness. And of course, I'm here to support you guys in doing that. If you guys want to book a call to connect, Michelle obviously is doing that now. You can find some details under the announcements in terms of stepping into that space. You really kind of have to ask yourself, what is unforgiveness costing me? And I can tell you right now, everything. In terms of abundance, in terms of your own faith, in terms of feeling good within your body, in terms of living in the present moment, in terms of living in expanded frequencies. Forgiveness really is the, when we talk about the root cause, we want to go to the root cause and pull out that energy to set yourself free. Forgiveness is where it's at. It's not really one of those really sexy, like, oh, put my hand up, I want to do that kind of things that people opt for. But it's one of those things that if you get good at it, and forgiveness is something that you often need to do consistently, right? You need to get good at it. It can set you free in so many ways because you're not holding any of that frequency, and you can truly see everybody in your life and world as extensions of source energy, which is the correct perspective from the universal mind. We are all connected, we are all divine, and we are all from source energy. And when you can literally see people like that, you know you're in the energy of forgiveness because there's no contraction. You are literally seeing people correctly the way that the universe sees you, which is with eyes of pure love and complete acceptance. Anyway, folks, I hope you're having a great day. It's fun to come on and share this with you. Again, do be sure to come check the Facebook group out on Friday at 10 o'clock to see the interview that I did with Lewis, which was so much fun. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.